Shalom, Kahalo Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Kakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us his truth. And shalom and salutations to all the brothers that push in the word in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm the brother Yeshua. I'm back with the WW3 Daily update. Shalom and salutations to you as well. I'm going to start right here. Isaiah 13:17. We're going to deal with Russia. And then later in this very quick update, we're going to deal with the Carmanians, who is Iran, okay? The Persians, if you will. In the valley of Yehoshaphat, Jehoshaphat, if you will, all right, where the final battle of Armageddon will take place. Okay, so first, Isaiah 13:17. We always do this. It's Monday. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. So the Most High, the one you call God, whose name is Yahweh, said he will stir up, right? Who? The Medes, right? So we have Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh, in the name of his son, will stir up the Medes, the Russians, against them. Who is them? Babylon. Who is Babylon? America. Okay? All right? And that's just plain and simple. All right? And we see that. All right? America is everywhere. America is in Southeast Asia. Talking about we're defending Taiwan. America is on the Korean Peninsula. Talking about we are South Korea. America is flying drones in the Black Sea, taking pictures of Crimea so that they can bomb, right? Flying American bombers, right, on the in Russian territory. Okay, nuclear bombers at that, pushing the issue. America's everywhere out there. Where's America? Right here. Where does it say America in the Bible? Right there. Okay? And this is what we're watching. Okay? Now, are the Russians being stirred up right now? Well, let's watch a couple of quick videos, and I'm gonna try to keep this short. Let's see what this guy has to say. Mearsheimer Community. Apparently, this guy's name is Mearsheimer. Russian nuclear weapons are on high alert. This is 1 day ago. Okay? Now listen to how he describes the Russians. All right? High alert. They're being stirred up. Okay? And people aren't even, you're not being told in your media. What do you think the Russians are doing? They're getting ready to sprint to a nuclear fallout bunker where they have food and they'll be protected. But what about here in America? You ain't got nowhere to go. Right?
The Russians are not going to roll over and play dead. In fact, what the Russians are going to do is they're going to crush the Ukrainians. They're going to bring out the big guns. They're going to turn places like Kiev and other cities in Ukraine into rubble. They're going to do Fallujahs. They're going to do Mosuls. They're going to do Grozny's. You know what happened in World War II when the United States was faced with the possibility of having to invade the Japanese home islands in early 1945. The idea of invading the Japanese home islands after what happened at Iwo Jima and then later what happened in Okinawa really spooked us. So you know what we did? We decided to burn Japanese cities to the ground starting on March 10th, 1945. We killed more people the first night we firebombed Tokyo than we killed at either Hiroshima or Nagasaki. And we were systematically burning Japanese cities to the ground. Why? Because we did not want to invade the Japanese main islands. When a great power feels threatened, the Russians are going to pull out all stops in Ukraine to make sure that that they win. And then there's the nuclear dimension to this. The Russians have already put their nuclear weapons on high alert. This is a really significant development because what they were doing was sending us a very powerful signal as to how seriously they take this crisis and what's going on. So again, if we start winning and the Russians start losing, you want to understand that what we're talking about doing here is backing a nuclear armed great power that sees what's happening as an existential threat into a corner. This is really dangerous. Go back to the Cuban Missile Crisis. I don't think that what happened in the Cuban Missile Crisis was as threatening to us as this situation is to the Russians. But if you go back and look at how American decision makers thought at the time, they were scared stiff. The Russians.
All right, so there's a little background for you. All right, now let's look at this one more time real quick. Okay. Behold, I am stirring up. I will stir up the Russians. God is doing this. He's stirring up the Medes against Babylon. Now, this guy against the Americans. It's the Americans over there. All right. Trust and believe. Who's pushing this issue? Who's sending billions of dollars? Okay. Who's sending more money than the Babylonians? Nobody. Okay, so, all right. Now, this guy, he's just giving you reference of what they're going to do. You forgot? You think the Russians are going to lay down and die? Listen to his first words again.
The Russians are not going to roll over and play dead. In fact, what the Russians are going to do is they're going to crush the Ukrainians. They're going to bring out the big guns.
They're going to bring out the big guns. Okay, so I don't know when that was taped, if you will, but I know that this, let's see, came out yesterday. Let's see, where's it at? Right here. Let's get New York Prepper and let him speak.
The entire incident took about...
This guy is pro-Ukraine, so you got to pick out the bones. Slovakia. Yep. There'd be big stuff like that going on. Okay, so let's go back. This is New York Prepper. This is one day ago. Let's read the... Okay, one day ago, New York Prepper, red alert. Russia moving nuclear weapons to Belarus. First time since Cold War. So what the guy previously said, Mersheimer, he said they're going to bring out the big gun. Well, they're bringing out the big guns. And we used this yesterday, I believe. And we don't have to play the whole thing. We just got to, show you where this thing is going. Do you think these people are not going to use these nukes? All right. Well, they're getting them in place right now.
What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NY Prepper. It is Sunday, March 26th, 2023, and I have a red alert to share with you guys. We have some breaking news coming out of Ukraine. Apparently, Russia is going to be moving tactical nuclear weapons outside of its borders for the first time since the collapse of the USSR. So they're going to be moving some kind of unknown nuclear weapons to Belarus.
And you could tell in his voice he's disappointed. He knows what this means. Okay? It means that this thing is escalating out of control and moving to what? Nuclear annihilation. Okay? And they don't want this to happen, but Babylon the Great is not going to relent. They're not going to back down. They're going to push this thing and they're going to force this issue.
So that is pretty significant, although I'm not super worried about it.
Yeah, right.
A lot of people are panicking and they think that now all of a sudden Russia can strike Europe. And guys, whether the missiles or the nuclear weapons are in Belarus or whether they're in Russia, it doesn't really matter. They have weapons in Russia that can easily target anywhere in Europe. So whether they're in Belarus or in Russia, doesn't really matter. It's more of like a intimidation tactic, and to kind of show the West, oh yeah, okay, we can move nuclear weapons to your borders. It's kind of more of like a psychological move rather than anything solid. So I'm not super worried about it, but it is still significant because it's the first time since the collapse of the USSR that Russia has moved nuclear weapons outside of their borders. So I want to discuss that with you guys because it's pretty significant. We also have.
Yeah, it's pretty significant, but you're not afraid, right? Well, what's going on again? Okay. Look, I, the Most High, will stir up the meat. It looks like they're pretty stirred up against who? The Babylonians, the Americans. Okay. They got Russian subs, right? Let's see what he says.
A situation developing in Armenia and the
Okay, yeah, that's the World War. Okay, we'll end it right there. The Russian subs are right there. Does he go into it? Let's see. Yeah, you keep playing. Keep playing with the Russians. See, the Most High is on the Russians' side. The Most High is with the Russians against the Babylonians. And that's the way it's going to go down. Okay? So, I mean, what do you do? What do? You prepare. All right? Repent, acknowledge your offense, pray for forgiveness, get back in order, and pray that you be saved. Right? Saved from the destruction. So we'll just get we're out of here. We're gonna get Revelation. Let's get 11. Okay, because nobody is stopping this thing. It's just gonna grow by the day. We can get into the Berean. Revelation 11 and 14. The second woe has passed. Behold, the third woe is coming shortly. Okay? With each day that passes, right, Russia is being provoked further and further. They're talking about some sort of offensive, some sort of Ukrainian offensive coming in 2 to 3 weeks. Right? That's the Most High provoking or stirring up the Medes, poking the bear, if you will. So we'll go ahead and end it right there. Hey, more of the same. This thing ain't going nowhere. With that, each day that passes, World War III, nukes. Nukes, World War III, Russia nukes, China nukes. Okay, it's not going nowhere, y'all. All right, so get yourself ready with that. We hope that the elect will edify you, brothers and few sisters, with that shalom.